Mark, WSL game against Liverpool this weekend. I wanted to ask you about Liverpool, and someone you're very used to managing on the touchline with is Gareth Taylor. I guess, what have you made of his start at Liverpool, and what have you made of them so far?
Yeah, I think mixed, to be honest, Joe. Like they've started games really, really well. I know we played them pre-season, and again did the same. Pretty much in the way Gaz wants to play in terms of ball possession. He prioritises that, and I think they've shown really good signs. You can see some of the things they're trying to build. Of course, I think Gaz would like a few more windows in order to build the team that he wants. But no, I've been impressed with parts of the game. And then look, they've shown moments of fragility, and I'd expect that with a team that's trying something new. But yeah, all in all, I think they've it won't be long before they turn those results round into what I'm sure Gaz wants a little bit more with the success they're obviously planning for.
And Mark, I just want to ask you about the Champions League draw because that came out last week. What have you made of it? There's some juicy fixtures there. PSG at home, I guess. Yeah, what have you made of those teams?
I think when you scan across the board, though, Jay, there's a lot of juicy fixtures, as you called them. So yeah, I mean, look, for us, it's really we've said. I think it's part of the slogan as they built up the thing that if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So for us, it's a difficult challenge, but something we're going to relish. We all love to be in there. It'll be hard. It'll be late nights, early mornings, all of that stuff. Games thick and fast, but actually, it's exactly where the players want to be. So, if I start moaning towards the end when I'm tired, you have to put me in my place.
Will do, Mark. Best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you, Jamie. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jamie. Rachel, please.
Hi, Mark.
Good morning, Rach. How you doing?
Good, thank you. I just wanted to ask you a quick question about Maëlle Tissier. Should she start at the weekend? She's set to make her 70th consecutive start for Manchester United in the Women's Super League, which is kind of hard to wrap your head around, I think, and especially given such a young player. Can you just maybe talk a little bit about her?
Yeah, I think, we speak about her often, but I think to just give you an insight, like, I'm really pleased with the way she's growing as a leader. Like, I see her being diligent around the team. I see her, and the reason I'm saying this is because I think this gives you more around how she's growing, Rach. I think there's been enough said about her as a player, but as a person, she's growing really, really well into the leadership role that we expect of her. So she's one of those players that lead by example. She's exactly what you see. She's intense. She is focused. She is highest of standards. And the reality is, like, she's just, in a really positive way, a little bit of an anomaly because of just how she can keep producing and keep performing. So she's when I look back at putting her as captain, it was all of these reasons that you're seeing now as to why I knew that she'd be a fantastic captain for Manchester United. So great character, great professional, and he's learning lots and lots. She's by no means perfect, but she's learning lots and lots, and I'm really, really pleased with her.
When I spoke to her pre-season, that was something she really liked to challenge herself with, was playing lots and lots of minutes. And she said that, you've said to the team before, to everyone, look, not everyone's going to get to play every minute. That's just kind of football. We are going to have to, rotate players. And she kind of said, challenge accepted type thing. So I guess Champions League football now as well. It's just really interesting to see someone like that who's so keen to play every single minute as much as possible. So it's a pretty impressive.
They're rare, right? Honestly, Rachel, they're very rare. The players are very rare like that. I've experienced probably 2 or 3 in my whole career. So to see what she does and how she does it and how she prepares her body, like she's one of the first in. So I got in today after helping with the kids and stuff this morning, and she's already in the gym, looking after her body. Almost like a veteran would do, but actually she's really young. So, but if you look at her game, she's probably more veteran than a lot of players, just not by chronological age. So I think she's an incredible talent. And you know what? Hopefully, if she says to you and to me, challenge accepted, then and she can produce, I'll be a happy man. I've no doubt about that. And if everybody else can do the same, I won't be rotating as much. So let's see. I'm really happy with where she's at, and as I say, she's an anomaly that you very rarely get to work with.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you, Rach.
Thanks. Catherine, please.
Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Catherine. How you doing?
Good, thanks. I just wanted to highlight Anna Sandberg for a minute because I think she was one of my standout players against Arsenal, particularly against the likes of Olivia Smith, Chloe Kelly. I think she's always been so good going forward with her speed and creativity, but she's really come on kind of leaps and bounds defensively, and I just wondered if you could talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I think it's right to spotlight her as well, really, because Anna's had a difficult start to the year. She had personal situations that are obviously horrible, but for her to be focused and play the way that she is playing right now shows the mark of an incredible player. Someone that I have, we identified her 2-3 seasons ago, and we were watching her for a little bit, and then we knew the first year would be a little bit different. She's played a lot of minutes for Hacken, and then she comes into Manchester United, and it's just a higher expectation. And then, the level of person she is, even in training the other day, just to give you an insight to her, is she does one thing wrong, and she's almost, beating herself up because she wants to do it right. And she then goes again, and she goes again. So she resets really quickly. And I think the maturity she's shown in this first part of the season, I think she could be one of the best left-backs in the world. I have no doubt about that. And that's obviously the trajectory you want to push her to. But I just want a special mention to Gabby, because Gabby's been a very great mentor to her. Even in the difficult moments last year, Gabby was there, she was showing, and with her quality, Gabby was leading the way as well. So to have those both as options at left-back is incredibly exciting for us at Manchester United.
And can I just check if there's any team news?
Yes, so right now, everybody is back and available, barring Simi, Millie and Leah. So everybody else is in the squad. As of now, I've still got 2 training sessions, but as of now, everybody is fighting fit and ready to go.
Brilliant. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. Simon, please.
Hi, Mark.
Morning, Simon. Good to see you again, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Just a couple of things. Sorry, I arrived a little bit late, so I'm sorry if you've been asked this already, but what do you feel the atmosphere and the feeling around the game is going to be on Sunday? Because obviously it's going to be presumably quite emotional for Liverpool on the basis of what's happened with Matt, the dreadful news over the last few days.
Yeah, I think it'll be one that's charged with emotion, and that can go 2 ways for a team, can't it? It can galvanise you, it can promote you, it can push you, or it can consume you. And it'll be a difficult moment for all. I wasn't at the game the other night, but that was almost an interlude to this game. And it's Liverpool versus Manchester United, so it's a big game anyway. But I think it'll be highly charged with emotion, but very respectful, I think, from both teams. I think that there'll be a respect for the great man. And what we'll do is, and I said this before, I think the best kind of tribute we can pay to someone like Matt, knowing his character, is to go and put a fantastic performance in and try and win the game, because that's what he always tried to do. He always tried to win the game. And regardless of how he did it, how he adapted, how he evolved, he always tried to win the game. And I think to pay him, as I say, a tribute and credit, we have to go and do the same. Even though, Liverpool can be very difficult and play really well, we've got to do what we can to try and win this game, because I think that would be, a fitting tribute to the man.
And just in terms of your own side, obviously, you've made this fantastic start to the season. The club announced this week that one of your Champions League games is going to be at Old Trafford. I know there was some debate around whether you'd be better served at Lee because you know it so well, and you've got a good record there. How do you, as the manager of this team, how do you balance out the need for results, the desire and the demand for results, and what will give you the best opportunity, whilst also providing a platform for the club and for your team and your players to play in front of the biggest crowd that it's possible to get?
Yeah, I think it's a really fine balance. When when I look at how we want, we want to promote the game. Our job as Manchester United is to still promote the game while still trying to win the games. And to play, to have if you said to me 3-4 years ago when I first came into the job that we were going to have a Champions League night at Manchester United, all the famous nights that we've had at Old Trafford, we've seen with the men's team, then to say that we're going to have one of those, I think, regardless, I think it can be treated as an event and a moment to celebrate. And look, we've got to do a job against an incredible team, but I think that there's a balance here. So usually I would like that comfortable kind of surrounding, understand, we know what level of performance you're going to get. But I think you can also create special memories in those moments too. So I'm hoping that against PSG we can create a special moment. But I think for us to be part of it will be an incredible moment and a marker in the women's history in this wonderful football club. So it's a balance point. I think we'll strike that balance point with the other 5 games. Obviously 3 away, 2 at Lee, and then with the rest, the other one at Old Trafford. So I think it's a lovely. Hopefully it's a poetic night, and we've just got to make sure we do that with a performance and a result.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Have a good day.
Thanks, Simon. Tom, please.
Good morning, Mark.
Good
Thanks
morning,
for your time.
Tom. No problem, mate.
I just wanted to ask, I guess, how Joe and Scott are doing. Obviously, they knew Matt so well, and just what you've been able to do as a group of staff to just kind of just be there for each other this week, and maybe what you've been struck by with their professionalism over the last sort of 7 days.
Yeah, look, so to go back to the game, it's a really. I was stood next to, as we were doing the minute silence, I was stood next to Scott and Joe, and I could hear and I could feel them. I could feel their emotion. That was in physical tears, but also they understand with their extremely professional mindset that then they flip into game mode. Because, and again, Tom, you know this, Beardy would have done the same. So it would have been that kind of, he knew how to flip the switch to be performance. So, and then afterwards, I think it's making sure I've spoken to the club about support should they need it. I know the LMA have reached out, and I know the WSL have reached out to see anybody that needs support. I think in the moment, I think right now it's just about talking. We said about keeping the memory of him alive and having good conversation around it. So I think rather than push it back and not talk about it, feel the emotions of it, and then really continue to add that as part of your life. Like I said it before, and I wasn't joking. Like, we want to be part of the conversation, to be continuous, so that actually you can understand that. I think both of them are incredibly professional. In all honesty, they describe it as up and down, as a disbelief, really, as a disbelief. They didn't feel that anything like this would ever happen. So, but I think also it'll take time to come to terms with it. Really, I think that's just human nature. But the reality is, we'll be here for them. As a football community as well, we'll be here for each other. So if we can do that, then we'll celebrate the man's life, and I look forward to being part of that.
Thank you, Mark. Really wish them well. And I guess I wanted to also just ask a bit on the game with regards to that. I suppose, particularly with Liverpool, how do you prepare for this Liverpool team? And do you sense that they're going to almost like extra motivated to win because of the kind of week they've had? They almost like they're going to want to win format. And how do you counter that? Just transferring it into a tactical and sort of a football game rather than making it become a game of emotions in that way.
That's the balance point, Tom. That's exactly the balance point we have to strike in this game. It'll be a difficult one because, as I say, you never know until the moment whether it's going to over emotionally stimulate Liverpool, and they won't know that till the moment. The players won't know that. I think from Gaz and that they'll be experienced enough to know how to set the team up. You're just not going to know. I'm sure they'll have energy at times, Tom. I'm sure they'll have high energy that we're going to have to soak the pressure up and deal with. But I think we'll speak about that. We'll speak about that as a team and how we approach the game to understand that we're going to absorb a lot of their energy, how to take the sting out of games at times. And I think really just then exploiting with the quality that we have. And, hopefully make it a night that they don't want to remember for the result-wise, but obviously remember for the celebration of Matt's life.